Pranam, Dr. Behera. Thank you very much for joining with us today. And I know you have done a lot in your life, and in the field of science, in the field of consciousness, mind, brain, everything in all different dimensions. You have fulfilled your duties, and you are still doing a lot in those areas. So please, can you give us a little bit of introduction of yourself and how your journey started, how you came to IIT, into the science field, and then started with MBCC?
Thank you, Prakriti. Thank you very much for inviting me in your podcast. I'm very tiny person, very, very tiny. So to give a introduction, it's very tough to give an introduction. Anyway, I was born in a very small little village in Odisha, in the district of Balashwar, and but my schooling was mostly done in the southern Odisha, which is mostly a tribal part of Odisha in the district of Koraput. I studied in Ramnaguda, in Chandahandi, very, very, those days interior places without electricity.
Yes.
And I studied my 11th. That means in our time, we didn't have 10 plus 2. We had 11 plus 2.
Okay.
After 11, we used to enter into intermediate science. Or those who want to go to intermediate arts, they can go to IAC. So,
Yeah.
so I completed my 11th from Panaveda High School in Chandahandi. We had, I think, 17 or 18 students were there in my batch, and out of that, 7 or 8 secured first position. So those are very rare achievement in the tribal area.
Yeah.
And from there, I went to Cuttack to study in Ravensa College. Now it has become Ravensa University. It was number one college those days in Odisha.
Okay.
And after completing my IA intermediate science, I pursued electrical engineering in REC Rourkela, which is now NIT Rourkela. And then I pursued PhD at IIT Delhi. And after completing PhD, I kind of tested myself in my spiritual depth. So I went to BITS Palani.
Okay.
And engaged with the students there in spiritual discourse. And then I remained a kind of monk in Juhu temple in Mumbai for 1.5 years. And then Germany to IIT Kanpur, where I have been there since 2001. Now I'm in deputation from IIT to IIT Mandi from IIT Kanpur. And here I have completed 3 years as the head of the institute at IIT Mandi. So that's a professional journey. But as you said, what transformed me from a trained professional in AI and robotics to my interest in consciousness is a long journey from my childhood.
It is.
Because you see, when my father was working in a interior place in Koraput, there, just in front of my house, there was a big field, open field.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, and I was probably third or fourth standard. Um, so basically, I'll be 8-year-old or 9-year-old. And in the field, there was a Baba who suddenly appeared there, and he made a very good following there. And local tribal people, they normally drink, they eat meat.
Yeah.
So they all gave up all those things. And, that place was filled with bhajan and all kind of, and I didn't know what is spiritual, but this bhajan pujan was going on there. And suddenly one day Baba took his followers, said, I saw in the dream, there is Lord Shiva being hidden under 3 conjoined trees, very big trees. One tree, the roots, the trunk size would be almost a bedroom size. So that's how, it must be a very old tree. And so when they cut those trees, the Lord Shiva appeared. And that was to me a profound divine experience. And because somebody is able to say that in this jungle, there is Lord Shiva, and this Lord Shiva appeared, and then he said, you dig here, there will be fountain and everything. It was, it was my first encounter. And that, in fact, that is the beauty of India. India is a place where the great rishis, they live, and the tapavala, that is the strength of tapa that they have, and the purity they practice in their life is something only an Indian can appreciate.
Yes.
And when that really happened, my conviction as a Sanatani or as a Hindu was there within me. It didn't suddenly manifest, but I still remember every Durgastami, me and my mother, we will wake up early morning, take bath, and turn on Air India, All India Radio, Katak, and we will hear Durga Stuti. And of course, those days people are very simple. They took pleasure in activities which now is considered very old style, but these are things that gave me an insight of the culture in which India lives. So that was my childhood experience. And in course of time, I became very philosophical. I studied a lot in my school days. I don't think that there was any book left in my school library, that I didn't study. So we had a Odia encyclopedia. Normally people, a school student would not study encyclopedia. From A, E, U, in every alphabet, so many words for every word. What is the significance? So why somebody would read? But I finished reading an entire Odia encyclopedia in my school days. So there was a great affinity for studies, and that's why I'm in academics.
No doubt.
And you are asking me to speak on, I can go on speaking like this. Because there are lot of my fond memories, for example, when I studied Arisi Rourkela, and every Sivaratri, every year, but 4 years, 7 years I stayed there. And every Sivaratri, we will, 4 or 5 of us, we will cycle towards Bedavyas. There is a river and there is a Shiva temple. So we will start around 3 o'clock. And it's almost like 25 to 30 kilometer or 25 kilometer. We'll cycle, reach there, take bath, and pour milk and water on Lord Shiva and come back.
Very
So,
nice.
so we always, we didn't understand philosophically import of these rituals,
Yes.
but we loved them. Every Mahasivaratri, my father used to fast, so I used to also fast full. And so the whole evening we will be in the temple doing kirtan, dancing. So we didn't know the purpose, but we enjoyed those things.
Yeah.
And so in my college days, whenever I went to my hometown, because my father was doing a government job, it was always transferable. Sometime he is in X place, Y place. So whenever I would plan to travel, so I have to go to a small city, from city to another bus or another some conveyance, and then reach. So, I don't know why, but I never took food outside. I always enjoyed going to the Jagannath temple, and exactly 12 o'clock there will be Bhoga Arati, and those days 2 rupees you give, they'll give you full meal, and that is what I enjoyed my life. So, in a sense, it is by the arrangement of providence or something. I certainly soaked myself into the cultural ways of India. So and that is why, the dust of India is like, it smells the beautiful, it has a beautiful fragrance that I always smell. So, and of course, when I became philosophically aware of our lineage, of our traditions, and then the Ganga, Yamuna, Himalaya, they became very attractive, and they become part of my life. I don't think that I can separate myself from what India is in terms of its cultural and spiritual
Yeah.
traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how did you come to connect all this with MBCC? How come you started with mind, brain, consciousness, and all that conference? And how is it going to help the humanity or the students out there and all the staff members and anybody who is taking part into that conference?
You see that, of course, sometime in your life, you come or you stand at a crossroad and you start thinking what I'm doing. A similar thing has happened when I completed my graduation, BTech in electrical engineering. And I think that is the time a transformation happened. A natural calling happened that I must ask my spiritual existence. And why that happened? Because I was spending a lot of time with my friends, and once everybody left,
Yeah.
a sense of loneliness was there. And then I was thinking, I had a very good set of friends in my schools. I became isolated from them now. Again, after 4 years, again, I have to find another set of friends. And what is fun in it? So that is the time I picked up Bhagavad Gita, because my father also regularly he used to read Bhagavad Gita one chapter before going to the office. So probably that tradition inspired me to take up the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, I used to appreciate our Odia culture. Odia culture is, in every village there used to be Bhagavad Tungi,
Okay.
where every evening everybody will assemble and will hear Bhagavat. My maternal grandfather had memorized the Odia Bhagavat, and he was very, benevolent person that I have ever seen, because at least 30, 40 girls he got married. Is in village those time, getting a daughter married is very
Big
tough.
thing. Yeah.
And he used to do that for free. No charge. It's not like sadi.com or something. So he used to do it, and he's a very benevolent person. And so I had an understanding that these literatures have, profound meaning, and they have the transformative character. So I picked up a Bhagavad Gita, and my journey started. Then I met a teacher who taught me Bhagavad Gita at IIT Delhi. And once I understood Bhagavad Gita, that is when I understood what is consciousness, what is mind, what is body. You see, in our literature, Atma refers to three things. Atma is the body. Atma is the subtle body, that is Manas. Atma also the Atman, the consciousness. So all three together is Atma. That is the body. When I say body without Manas and Atma has no existence.
Yeah.
And but how these three things are coexisting in the same body? Or in fact, we can't differentiate between these three, literally speaking. And there is a process. Those who are capable, they know how to withdraw themselves from the body, then manas, and then they become situated in self. That's the overall practice that we do. But how do we bring this in a scientific way to the audience? Because people have been brainwashed from their schooling.
Yes.
That we are just the body. We are just this 100 trillion, 120 trillion cells. This body is simply an amalgamation of these cells. That's it. So it is very, very tough. And this has happened because before independence, there was a choice that people who were traditionalist, they remained traditionalist. Yeah. But once you accepted the schooling system, so this particular bombardment of ideas that we are only the cells when they become very complex at a particular stage, they will manifest consciousness. So mind and consciousness is an emerging property of complex molecular structure is something that has been propagated and ingrained in literally everyone.
Yeah.
So it is a big challenge how we have to change this mindset. This is not true. Scientifically, this is not true.
Yeah.
So, and hence, this mind brain consciousness conference is an attempt that how we can have a dialogue at least. Okay. We should be open to another aspect of or another angle of point of view. So, because if we think that we are really intellectuals, we should be open to engage in such a discussion. And hence, that is the basis of mind, brain, and consciousness. So when I say mind, brain, consciousness means there's a holistic idea of our existence.
Yeah.
And if we understand this holistic idea of our existence, any science and corresponding technology would harmonize our existence with the nature. That's my strong conviction, and I'm pretty sure this will lead to an earth that will be that can where all species can coexist. Right now you see so many species are almost becoming
Endangered.
extinct.
Yeah, extinct.
And there are certain research by Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Control that how such extinction would ultimately lead to the extinction of the human
beings,
species
yeah.
as well. Right? So that is because we are pursuing science and technology possibly in a wrong foundation.
Disconnected from nature, disconnected from the existence of the beings.
So that is why this mind-brain consciousness, the scientific inquiry into it is very, very important. And Indian knowledge system, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, will play a big role,
Yes.
very big role in this, very big role.
So most of the time people are confused when they say science, actually trying to look into some things which are subtle, cannot be measured, consciousness cannot be measured, or we cannot look into it. It's not something material. Same thing is with the mind as well. Yes, brain, we can look into it, but not mind. So how do you see science connecting there to these two aspects of when we say to the human existence or any being's existence?
I think you have asked a very wonderful question here. You see, what is science? Science is not what we speculate.
Yes.
Science is about to know things as they are.
Yeah.
And it is a continuous process. It is an eternal process.
Yes.
Right? To say that science means it knows everything is wrong.
Right.
It is a process of unraveling the truth. So now the question is that how we can use or we can bring consciousness and mind within the empiric science paradigm is a very good question, because you see, we cannot study possibly now mind qua mind, or consciousness qua consciousness. But they have their footprint on the body. Right? So just like we say, a healthy mind heals the body, not vice versa. You have a sick mind that can spoil the healthy body. Right? And so, for example, one of my students is working now the model of perception.
Okay.
Simple thing. Before even we go to
Yeah.
mind or consciousness, we perceive the world. Who is perceiving? Okay. We can say we are perceiving through the eyes, but we can't say eye is perceiving.
No.
We can say we are tasting through the tongue, but tongue is not tasting.
Correct.
We are hearing through our ears, but ear is not perceiving. And for that matter, we can also say the brain is not perceiving.
Yeah.
So who is perceiving? This is known already within neuroscience, the unity of percept. For example, if we say our brain is perceiving, then through PET scan, imaging, MRI techniques, people know. Suppose I am seeing you, I see your shape in a specific part of the brain. Not see, I see, means the specific part of the brain is processing your shape, your dress color, another part of the brain is processing, right, your location, another part of the brain is processing. But I have the holistic perception.
Correct.
So these are the problems that are still not clearly explained within the neuroscience or within the science. So my student is developing an idea that how perception, at the level of perception, things are very, very subtle. So, of course, we always in science, we create model. So we look at, for example, here we are using quantum entanglement at the level of perception. That means the perceptual world, there are quantum entanglement and that entanglement. Because you see that whenever you want to perceive things, simply vision is not sufficient to visually perceive.
Yeah.
Right? That means just like we already know a yogi is not interested in these ephemeral things. Even if you saw, he is not interested, right? He doesn't want to perceive this thing. So that means there has been interest in things that needs to be perceived.
Right.
Okay? I'm not interested. Just like suppose I open a book, I'm not interested. Like, when we force the students to study, our children to study, and they keep the book in front, but their mind is somewhere and this and that. They don't perceive because the book is there, but they don't perceive what is there. So these are things that are not being addressed.
Yeah.
We simply say, suppose there is a glass here, I see the glass. What is explanation? I see the glass, my motor neurons are activating the muscles, and then I hold the glass. So this is the model. No, I think there is much more. It is not perception is not simply although it is happening at a gross level, but perception is also happening at subtle level.
Yes.
And there is no limit to the subtler structure that one can create.
We perceive in dreams as well.
Right.
Another
like, for example, same thing an artist perceives in a different way than you, right? A painter would perceive it differently than you and me.
Yes.
So what makes someone perceive, right?
Yeah.
So these are the things that can be brought within science.
Okay.
Empiric science, and we can give an idea of a subtle existence. You see, science did a good thing. Nobody knew what is atom and molecules, right?
Yes. Correct.
Science discovered. So science has discovered subtler things that are not visible to the naked perception.
Yeah.
To say that there cannot be the other subtler truth beyond atoms and molecules is also a closedness within our intellectual
Yeah.
pursuit. We should not be so narrow, saying that no, 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 no. The problem is here is that this idea of subtler and subtlest or pure cognition or cognitive matter, because they're taught within our literature,
Yes.
others are not able to accept it.
Mm.
First, the so-called pseudo-intellectuals within India, they don't want to accept. And but fortunately or unfortunately, the Westerners are taking more interested in such ideas.
I think in California
Huh.
they started the University of Consciousness long time ago, the Institute of Consciousness,
Right,
long
right.
time ago.
So, correct. So this is the problem. This is the problem. Indian tradition has many beautiful ideas, and they need to be brought in for the well-being or mankind. And if I don't care whether it is Indian knowledge system or not, as an neutral person, if it has utility in the service of the totality of
Humanity.
existence, right?
Yeah.
That means we have it can do good to the humans. It can do good to the nature. It can do good to the environment, all species.
It's
Why
all
not accept it?
Yes, wonderful. You highlighted some very important points that there are still things which, yes, samadhi is one thing, and going all the way and trying to model samadhi or doing something like that may still be far away, but the things like perception, indriya, how indriya works, how subtle indriyas work, creating a model that might be helpful in so many different things. We need to look at
The
health.
subtle indriya that you talked about, that's a very good idea, because in our literature it says that subtle indriya is imperceptible.
Yeah.
You can't perceive the subtle indriya. So what to speak of mind, or even more subtler, the consciousness.
Yeah.
But this is where we have to see what is happening is there is consciousness, which is the pure cognition,
Yes.
but it is entangled with mind. Mind is again entangled with indrias,
Yes.
and it gets entangled to the outer world through indrias. So obviously, where things will get entangled, those energy must have similar structure.
Right.
The subtlety of mind and subtlety of Sukma Indriya must be so similar that at some point of time, mind accepts these subtle Indriyas to be itself.
Yeah.
And gets entangled. So these are the ways we have to look at the existence.
Yeah, the downward spiral of consciousness. So
Yeah,
it becomes the mind, it becomes the
that is why
thoughts,
this
emotions.
entanglement,
Yeah,
this
entanglement.
is a very important. People got Nobel Prize for quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
But I think this idea of entanglement will lead to some of the discovery of these mysteries that are there within our literature already. And you see, one of the purpose of MBCC is to understand the gamut of mental health.
Yes.
because
Most
this has
important
become a
area.
pandemic.
Yes.
Mental health has become a pandemic.
Yes, it is.
And everybody is becoming mentally psyched or stressed or depressed.
Correct.
You know, and it doesn't recognize this is a big person. I will not touch him or her. No, here is underprivileged person. I will only attack him or her.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody is getting attacked by mental health. So, and hence this study of mind, brain, and consciousness in a holistic way
Yeah.
will help also to address the issue of mental health.
Very wonderful. One curious question that I have is, will you be working with, monks and sadhus and people like that, those who have their consciousness already aligned somewhere, those who have become ek indriya, then they are they how they perceive what is energy and consciousness doing inside them, if there is a way, or perfect your models based off of the real people who have, because we cannot measure it from outside, only we can only rely on people, those who have attained that.
Actually, just now in IIT Mandi, we are hosting one sadhu from
Okay.
Kangra.
Okay.
I was only talking to him that you enter into meditation and we will look at various signals that are there in your body when you enter into deep meditation. So we have developed a probe that can catch megahertz signal,
Okay.
high frequency signal. You see, as of now, our body mostly, body means, according to modern science, it's brain, right? And brain is 100 hertz machine. So you have alpha, gamma, beta. These kind of signals, easy signals that we look at, and based on that we understand the different state. But it is possible that you see that when things are very subtler or becoming subtler and subtler, they become very high frequency. Even within, if you understand the science, then we know more subtler an object is, its frequency is high frequency. So this is also another area that we are working, and we will certainly involve the monks and meditators in this study to recognize that there are possibly high frequency signals. These are our very early stages. In Gurukul, I run a Gurukul in Vrindavan.
Okay.
And there we have trained our young students mean very small kids. They are from age 8 to age 12. And you blindfold them and they can read.
Wow.
They can recognize any object that you saw. And so we found that if you use EEG, it is not able to make any distinction. But using our high frequency signal probe, we found that there is some distinction. That means there is certain markers. The high frequency signals are giving certain markers in such boys.
Wow.
Who have learned this trick. So, you see that how do you understand a subject? Only when you think about it, right? So we hardly are spending time what is mind and what is consciousness. So how can you expect that you will have knowledge about mind and consciousness?
Right.
But time has come. A good amount of researchers will now spend time in understanding these mysteries of existence.
And they will help humanity.
Yes.
Yes.
Unless people spend time material knowledge, how it progressed? Because people started thinking about it.
People were spending enormous amount of time.
Enormous amount of funds.
Yeah, funds were
right?
there. That is another thing. Yes.
So everything was spent there. And hence, this science developed.
And people don't understand the importance until they have someone in their family who
we have
some
to
sort
convince,
of mental sickness.
We have to convince. We have to convince the government. We have to convince the funding agencies that these are very important areas of research. People must come forward and spend time on it.
Because they can prevent the physical sickness by doing this. Mental sickness.
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether you are a royal family or you are a poor person. Mental sickness is something that you can't prevent.
Right.
So this is very good, very good. Thank you so much, Dr. Behera, enlightening us about all the things that you are doing in the IIT and how MBCC will help. And I will provide the link of MBCC, the conference that is happening, to the viewers that we have, and they should be able to contribute in their own ways, ask you in their own ways, in whichever way people can contribute and people can look into it. Some people can just spread the word that this is happening, this is something that we are doing, and this might help humanity, and we can take it further to another level. So anything that you would like to say to the youth of today, those who are seekers and those who are seeking spiritual answers in life?
I would like to request everyone, whoever will hear this podcast, please come to MBCC.
Very good.
Mind Brain Consciousness Conference. Register. We don't charge too much. Minimal charge is there. And please come, because this time we have many big, established scientists and researchers. They are coming and they will give keynote and invited talk. We have Deepak Chopra, Subhas Kak, Amish Tripathi, Professor Gangadhar, from the ex-director of NIMHANS. We have many big researchers like Supratim Roy from IIC Bangalore, Professor Ganti Murthy from IIT Indore, who is also in charge of Indian knowledge system at Ministry of Education. So many people are participating in this conference, and they will tell their story, and the story of meaningful success in life. Becoming spiritual doesn't mean you give up your world.
Give up your dharma in the world.
So, rather, spirituality makes you a better professional,
correct,
better father, better mother, better leader, better scientist. Spirituality is about unraveling our true nature,
hidden potential,
eternal nature.
Yep.
So when we understand our eternal nature, we become fixed in truth, satya.
Yes.
And when we leave satya, I don't think there is any fear. You become fearless.
Yes.
And hence, you'll be able to do your dharma, that is your profession, in a much better way, fearlessly, for the betterment of the society.
Yes.
So that would be my advice to all young people who are hearing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Behera. Pranam.
Pranam. Thank you. Thank you very much.